Hey guys, Justin here. Welcome to a new season of Arca. And with that, I'm going to be trying something a little bit new. I'm going to be including a long run and race guide along with the qualifying guide. Let me know if you guys find this extra useful, if you guys like the shorter, more concise qualifying videos, or if you guys want me to go in depth every week. I can do either. Whatever seems to get the best reception, I'm going to keep on doing. So please like this video if it helps you in any way, because it helps me out a ton, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see content like this in the future. As you can see here, there's a lot of outlap, so feel free to skip ahead. I just like to include every part of the lap so that nobody calls foul on anything. So I really think that the second lap is going to be a little bit faster than the first lap here and a little bit easier. So as we get through the first lap, you can see me kind of taking it easy on the first lap, not destroying my tires for no reason, but I still want a good amount of momentum coming off of 4 of the first lap. So keep an eye on that and we will get right into the lap.
.972. .641.
Alright, let's take a look at this. So I'm going to be skipping ahead to the second lap. I really found that the second lap was faster than the first, especially if you don't wear too much of your tires doing this first lap. So we can see here, I'm not going to go all the way to the wall to gain momentum this time. I'm going to go to the seam that's right here. A little hard to see in the quality of this slow-mo video, but you go to the seam and kind of treat it like it's the white line, but for a different lane, and feathering it a little bit, but once I get to the apex of the corner, I can get full on. It gets a little bit loose, but you can see I carry a lot of momentum off the corner here, really gaining time on my relative. So we're going to get to the start-finish line here, and I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. All right, so now we're going into the first corner, and this is all about hitting your marks. It's not too difficult, so you see the tiniest trick that I have here. I'm going to back up a little bit. I drag just the tiniest bit of brake right here. You see that? And I drag it not for the slowing down aspect of it, but just to get that extra bit of rotation to sweep from middle to low, get my car pointed a little more left than without the brake, and I'm able to get on the gas a lot quicker now. So this is going to be a little bit risky of an exit. You see I can get really close to the wall here. But this is one of the aspects of training your spatial awareness here. Getting really close to the wall allows you to carry a lot of speed in situations like this, because it's very challenging to get this corner correctly. So you see just the tiniest drag of brake, get the car turned down to the white, kind of unjack the wheel as I get the car pointed the right direction, and just full throttle, let the car slide up to the wall and let the momentum carry itself. And I carried a very good corner here, so now we're going to skip ahead to turn 3. And the same kind of idea, just the tiniest drag of brake. You see that again? The tiniest drag of brake down here, and if I go back, we can see it. Just the tiniest brake drag. And as we slide back up, keep on the yellow or on the white as long as possible. And you see I'm just sliding up as close to the wall. If you choke off your car too much, so let's say I'm carrying this much speed, and I'm really carrying a good amount of speed here, and you see this angle, and you're like, man, I'm going straight into the wall. I need to choke the car off. I need to breathe the throttle a little bit. Well, if you take an exit kind of like this, kind of choking off as opposed to sliding up to the wall and letting out, you're going to lose so much speed on exit that you're going to end up losing probably half a tenth. So you just got to trust your car, trust that it's sliding up to the wall and not into it. And you can keep your momentum that you earned throughout the middle of the corner. And we can see here, it's all about carrying momentum, and it's all about getting your timings right, getting that tiniest bit of brake, get you the rotation that you'll need. And then from there, you just hit the gas, use the car's looseness, slide up to the wall, and you'll get yourself a decent qualifying time. So now we're going to go on to the race. Hey guys, so as a bonus to the usual qualifying guide, I was able to do a hosted session for Arca Charlotte earlier today with J-Bo's stream, so twitch.tv/JustinBo20. Very good streamer, I highly recommend if you want to learn a lot and have some fun watching it too. So here's the race that we did. And as you can see, I'm in the Panda Express 64 car, and immediately I'm getting passed. And so at this point, I thought to myself, this guy who is passing me, I think is using up too much tire. So I said to myself, I'm going to let him pass me, and I'm going to keep going and kind of see if he can challenge the leader, cause them to burn both of their tires, and be able to save tire at the same time. So what do I mean by saving tire? What am I doing differently that they're doing right now? Well, the main differences are mostly just earlier entry, so getting off the gas a little earlier, and also trying to throttle up a little earlier. So it's the same idea that I said in my tire saving video a couple weeks ago. I want to get on the gas at a point where I put more pressure on the right rear. And if I do that, if I get more wear on the right rear in the early stages, because this is such a right front burning track, it'll pay back with very big dividends. So now you see a second car trying to go past me during my save mode, and I take a different approach here. I say, okay, the first guy that got past me, I think he's using up too much stuff. The second guy that gets past me, I think we might end up being equal on tires if I let him pass me. So I defend the outside very hard here. I run a very hard lap on the outside, and that should be able to defend even tires 10 times out of 10 with good execution. So I take that penalty of one hard lap on the tires to keep this track position, because I think that if I let him by, it'll start becoming too much of a track position penalty for my strategy. I would rather be third place behind these first two burning their tires very hard than having slightly better tires than a couple people and then having to run the first two down again. So let's skip ahead a couple laps, and then we will see if this bet can pay off. So you see at this point I've lost about maybe 7 or 8 tenths of a second to the front two, but I'm still getting it to the bottom here. I'm still driving it off the right rear, and we can see if we fast forward a couple laps, I just naturally start coming back to them. Naturally start coming back, and see about lap 11, they've already used up their stuff on lap 11, fighting each other, driving really hard, deep into the corners, driving it off the right front off the corner, trying the outside. These are all things that are going to really hurt your right front tire. And in a race like this that is fairly long, 35 laps is a pretty decent run, and also the setup is very right front dependent, you really want to save as much as you can in the beginning, because what they were getting was maybe 1 or 2 tenths per lap for 10 laps, but now their fall off is going to be at least a tenth or two per lap for the next 25 laps. So you see here, I'm not even pushing anymore. I think I'm still saving here technically, but I'm just coming back to them. And the best place to do this is when you're in second or third position, because not only can I save here and not have too much pressure off the back, but also if I wanted to be in first right now at the beginning of the race, passing on even tires is very difficult at Charlotte in the Arca car, but it's very easy on uneven tires. So the natural solution is to keep touch with the front two, save tire, and then as the run comes along, I'll be able to pass them because of the unequal tire difference. Whereas if I was fighting with them, keeping even tire with them, I would have to work a lot harder to pass, it would burn my tires more, and it becomes a negative feedback loop. But now see here, I'm just effortlessly coming back to them. And it only took 15 laps, and I'm already here. So we can see that the tire saving does pay off, and it pays off quicker than you would even believe. So really, finding yourself a bubble in the beginning of the race, not getting passed by too many cars, but letting past the guys who are really aggressive off the start, the people who you know are going to burn your tires, but do not let somebody pass you if you think they are on equal tires to you. It is worth fighting the track position if you are on equal tires to somebody, because really they shouldn't be able to pass you on equal tires if you're defending the outside with equal tires. So you can see here, and just to show the payoff, we can see how easy it is for me to pass both these guys in a couple laps. See here, and get clear of them. And that pass is just not possible on tires that are fairly equal. And you can see since this is a hosted race, there's some shenanigans, but we can kind of guess how the rest of that race would have played out. I had the tire advantage for the entire race. After that, they would have had to try to play catch up, and I would have had a chance to save with track position. So that's really how you play this race out here. It is pretty intuitive, but it's also very tempting to really push it the first 10 laps. So it's about balancing, giving up spots to people who you know are going to burn tires, while also defending people who you think are going to be on equal tires to you. Those are the main takeaways from this race right here. And the last thing I want to go over for the long run is the line that I'm using here to basically survive my very worn right front. So when you have a track that burns right front and you tactically use it throughout the race to gain time, usually the best line to take as a run ender is to make very big arcs out of the corner and make the exits as straight as possible. So you can see me take a very large arc into 1 and 2 and kind of get the car pointed straight off the corner as early as possible, use the brake for rotation, and kind of turn down coming off the corner, making a very late apex. And I'm using that to get a very stable time. It might not be the fastest on track. There might be some people that saved a lot of tire earlier in the race, but through my calculations, I don't think that if you saved that much tire, you would be able to catch a strategy like this. So it looks like I was able to stabilize around a 32.5. This weather condition isn't exactly the same as what the actual race will be, so I don't know what it would translate to. But I know that it felt pretty fast, and I was about the fastest on the track for how many laps I had on the tires. So we can just see here as I'm finishing out the laps, really big arcs into the corner, use the brake to turn down to the bottom, and just gas up as early as possible, make the exit pretty straight, no real tightness. If you try to get a more of a shallow angle out of this, you're going to start sliding up to the wall. So really, this is what this big arc is accomplishing, turning the car as little as possible. Even with worn tires, this will use up your right front towards the end, but you want to use up at least a little bit coming to the end, because if you finish on exactly perfect tires, that means that you did not gain the time that those could have benefited you with at any point during the race. So make sure not only to save tires at the beginning and the middle stages, but when you're reaching the end, use what you got. It's always a good thing to use what you got at the end. It might get you a little bit, it might not, but at the end of the day, what you do at the beginning really puts you in this position. So I think in this race I was winning by multiple seconds, so I was just kind of trying things, but I think for the race this is approximately the strategy you want to do. Maybe there might be some shenanigans with driving perfectly around the bottom, and I think if I were to do this race again I would save for more laps, but the general idea of where I'm moving in the track that you've seen through the beginning, middle, and end, this is pretty much what I think the trajectory of the race will be like for you guys as well. So thanks for watching. Let me know how you guys like this long form of guide, if it's extra helpful for you, or if you just like the more concise qualifying guides, maybe with a couple notes about race at the end. I can definitely do that too. I'm not too sure how helpful this stuff is, so let me know in the comments below, or feel free to leave any suggestions as well. But But as always, I hope to see you all on the track.